Welcome in, everybody, to the Off the Bench podcast, episode 2 of the day. Still no Daniel Ball, no Ava Garza. We don't need them. We're going to keep on moving. We are on the road to Omaha. Once again, the sponsors, Jesus One Apparel, John 16:33, empowering men and women to be bold in their faith. And then, of course, Chinook Cedary, 9 flavors, mild to wild, the best sunflower seeds in the game. Make sure to go to Ballpark Village in Omaha. Ask for my guys, Matt and company, and they will get you taken care of. Get that new Zilla flavor. But enough of that. Man, Will, how we doing today?
I'm doing great. That was a cool intro. I didn't expect that. That was really cool.
Man, I have fun making videos with anybody who has a good creative team, and Ole Miss has one, making it to where I can pull really cool clips. Unfortunately, when I do the ones for the intro videos, they have to be widescreen, so it limits me to like the ones that I do on Instagram.
Yes.
But you have plenty of highlights, Will, so you don't make it too hard for me.
Well, thank you.
But man, we talked on your original episode. Speaking of, I was pulling clips the other day, and you talk about you chose Ole Miss because you want to create your own path. You didn't want to necessarily follow your dad's footsteps. And then we talked about also coming in behind Tim Elko, how people were talking about you had big shoes to fill, and you said you just wanted to be your own man. You wanted to play your own game. And here we are. You've put in the work. You've been a leader on the team. You've grinded and finding yourself at the greatest show on dirt in Omaha. Man, just how good does it feel, to create that own legacy that you're building and to do it your way?
Yeah, it's awesome. Like I've said a couple years ago, Tim. I've known him for all 4 years, and he's still just the same guy as always. He's a really great guy, and it's really cool to have. We've gotten to speak to him a couple times as a team, and he's done great things not only at Ole Miss but in pro ball as well, and just kind of leaning on the older guys. The younger guys have been kind of helping us out a lot this postseason. Like Romine had a huge hit in Nebraska, and it's cool to have guys like Hunter that have been through this and won a national championship a couple of years ago. And obviously, getting to Omaha is super cool, but you don't play all season and work so hard just to get to Omaha. You want to win the whole thing. So it's going to be a really cool experience, and we're all super excited to get there. But more importantly, I think that we need to lock in and get ready to win the whole thing, not just get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's always the comparisons to 2022, and being that I covered that team, I think this team is completely different for all its own ways, and both teams really good in their own particular way. But I have said all season, you've seen, I've tagged you times in social media, but like I've really liked this team all year. I know there's been some stumbles, but I felt like it's a complete team, all 3 phases. I feel like you could pitch, you could hit, and obviously you can play defense. And you've really shown over these last few weeks how y'all are exemplary in all 3 areas. So how good does it feel? And just talk about that work that y'all put together to be able to complete all 3 phases.
Yeah, it's been hard. At the beginning of the year, we were swinging it really well. We were pitching it good too, but we were swinging really, really well. And then we got 2 SEC plays. Started at Southern Miss when we were going to Texas during spring break, and we didn't really hit that good in the Southern Miss game. And then we went to Texas, and really outside of game 1, really it was just Tristan Becerra that scored all those runs for us, honestly, and then a couple of walks. So we didn't really swing it great there either. And pitching was still great. And the next weekend we didn't swing it great, and I believe it. Yeah, that was State, wasn't it? No. That was Kentucky, and then we played State. We swung it pretty good against Kentucky, but didn't swing it well against State. And then that Florida series when we won the first game and then got shut out the second game by obviously great pitcher in Aiden King. But the next game we hadn't scored in like 18 innings, and it was kind of like, why are we not hitting? We didn't really understand it. And then Judd obviously hits that big home run to tie it up, and then that's kind of when our offense started getting going again. And pitching, stuck through it as always. And this postseason, we faced some pretty, not pretty good, really good arms. And the Florida or Arizona State's ace Carlone, he's one of the best left-handers in the draft. He was really, really good, and we just battled through it and scored enough runs. And our pitching, obviously, as it always is was really good. And then the next game too, Rabe just coming out there and giving us held him to 1 run pretty much the entire time he was out there. I think it was the entire time he was out there. He held him to 1 run, and gave us a chance to get to their guy who was having probably one of the best outings he's had all year. Just really really dialing it in and working the corners and throwing everything where he wanted to throw it and throwing all of his pitches for strikes instead of just 1 or 2 like he normally does. And so that was a tough game for the offense too, but we stuck through it and we got some timely hits by Pano. And that I think that's what's kind of all coming together at one time in the postseason, and that's obviously when you need it. We faced a really good pitching staff in Auburn this past weekend, and we didn't really get too many hits in game 2, but it kind of was like all timely. That's just been the recipe for success for our offense this postseason is hitting with runners in scoring position and getting it done. And when it's super tight ball games, and then our pitching staff has just been phenomenal. They've only allowed, I think, 3 or less runs the entire time. It's been awesome to watch them, do what they knew they could do all year, and then what they have done for most of the year. So everything's coming together at the right time, and it's big for us.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about that pitching staff. Like there was all these flashes, right? And you knew like, and it's not even just the 3 starters, right? Like, and you people talk about hooks, but like Calhoun and Robertson, like you just knew the quality of arms was deep. And then once Ray took that next step as starter, it was like, oh my, like this the only team that I really see in the SEC is as good as there are arms in the SEC. Does anybody else have a complete 3 that they can go to extend out, and then a bullpen that you can rely on where it's not just one guy, but you have 3 or 4 guys. And so
it's crazy.
You add that into when the bats get hot, and then defensively, man, obviously you've had a Hoover vacuum over there on first, but you brought up Pano. Man, he started making some plays, and it was like, okay, like this team is coming together, and that's the reason I stayed on it all year, is because there was some losses, like that you probably shouldn't have had. There were mistakes that were made, but you saw the good in the team, and you knew what was possible.
Yeah.
For you individually, man, I wanted to double check my stats, and if you look at your progression, but you specifically talk about the batting average, because I continually think back to our conversation, and that was something that you wanted to do, was increase your batting average, right? We knew the power numbers could be there, but it was always going to be about, could you maintain a good batting average? And 311 is obviously that. So, how good do you feel about the fact that you've been able to gradually get that better every single year?
Yeah, it's been great. Last year really helped me a bunch with that. Clem really helped me a bunch with that, with using the backside of the field. And this year, before the regional, I think it was higher than that, because I didn't I hit that 1 home run, but honestly, I wasn't swinging it great in the super. And the back half of the lineup really helped
I
us
ain't gonna lie.
use.
I yelled at you your first AB through the TV because
Yeah.
you didn't swing at any of the 6 pitches, Will. Like you
Yeah.
didn't look like you
Oh,
wanted
I
to
know.
bat.
Yeah, I know. It was there was something with the I think this I could not see the ball that AB for whatever reason. Um I think I saw it better later in the game. I still didn't get a hit, but the first AB I just really couldn't see the ball. I think it was maybe the sun was half on the batter's eye, half off, or I don't really know what it was, but the first inning, all three of our first 3 batters, even Dom, which Dom never says he can't really see the ball that well. Even Dom said he couldn't see the ball that well. So it may have looked pretty bad on TV, but
No, it was
I
one of those
wasn't.
things, like you never even came close to moving the bat. So it was
I
like
know, I know. It
I
was
literally was
weird.
like, hey man, like you want to swing the bat?
Yeah, I know exactly. I thought the same thing. You're telling me. It was. I think that the 3-1 was down, but it doesn't matter. I didn't even swing at it. I didn't swing at any of the pitches, and the last one was right down the middle. And I walked off the field. I was like, dude, what in the world was like? What happened right there? It was weird. Anyways, it just it really a culmination of a lot of things. Clem was a huge part of it, helped me use the backside of the field. That was a big thing for me. It really helped fix a lot of things in my swing that I didn't really know how to fix. And it's kind of in a weird way. It helped me start to elevate the ball more pull side, instead of hitting it, ground ball. I hit a lot of ground balls my first 2 years, and
Yeah, the
then
shit
this year,
used to get you.
Yeah, exactly. And then last year I stopped hitting as many ground balls. This year at the start of the season, I was hitting a ton of ground balls, and that's why I think I if I started the season where I was probably like 3/4 of the way through the season with lifting the ball, I probably would have had quite a few more home runs. Which, but honestly, I don't even think our team needed more home runs. I think we needed more guys on base. So. Honestly, it may have been better for the team that I didn't have that, home run swing locked in and just got on base a lot, because we have plenty of guys in our lineup that hit home runs, and we needed some guys like me and Fed and Randall and Dom, and we needed all those guys on base more often. So that kind of worked itself out. But yeah, I think I hit like what I was at 2 home runs until the Georgia series. Like it was just weird. I was hitting a lot of balls on the ground, and then me and Clem kind of worked on just ball flight. We worked really hard on it for the like before the Georgia series, and then it finally clicked for me. And then obviously I started hitting more home runs. But yeah, the average aspect of things was big for me. Just I honestly I think that regional last year helped me in more ways than I even thought it would. Just learning how to win for the team instead of focusing on like personal success was that regional was huge for that. I kind of figured out how to hit, um, and not get upset about one AB or one pitch or striking out. All I really cared about is the guy behind me picking me up or winning the baseball game or doing my job late in the game. Because even like in a super regional, that last AB that I had, that I obviously hit the home run. I wasn't even trying to hit a home run. I was trying to get it. I was trying to hit a single because I wanted to score Judd.
Yeah, yeah. Coach said
Um,
you're lying, man.
that's yeah. Well, Sanders has been really good all year, and I knew he's really tough on lefties. So I was like, all right, I'm sitting slider, and I'm just gonna try to hit it hard, hit hard into the outfield somewhere, and hopefully it finds grass. Because that I I don't think I could have done that if I had been focused on my previous ABs. Because I mean, my last AB versus Sanders was the AB before I hit the home run was really bad. Like I took a slider middle away, and then I swung at one like at my neck. So, just kind of focusing on more of the team aspect of it, and just helping us win rather than personal success and personal glory has been a big thing for me. And I really figured it out after the regional last year, just learning how to focus on us winning and go pitch to pitch, AB to AB, and what can I do to help the team win now, as opposed to what can help my stats and everything go up from there.
Yeah. And it's funny, you talk about the previous AB. Kyle Peterson talks about it on the air all the time. If you have a moment like you did where you hit the home run, most people don't remember what happened before. And I
Exactly.
wouldn't have, remembered that you had the bad AB just because you had the moment you did, which you've had a knack for having some pretty clutch moments. You definitely got a clutch gene in you, Will. For that home run, like you said, it's about the team. It's not about yourself, but you do have that moment. And what was it like? A lot of times we have guys say that like it's kind of like a blackout moment. Like, what was it like for you?
Yeah, I went up there, and like I said, the previous AB I had a really rough AB against him. I had a pretty gross swing against his slider, and I knew that they knew that too. And of course, Frelick calls the pitches, so he's back there and he sees everything. And I think it was 2-1 when I hit it, but the strike that I took, it was a backed up slider, and it just barely caught the corner. I didn't think it did. I think it did now, like going back and looking at video. I didn't feel like it did, but the umpire said it was the corner, so I was like, okay. And then I kind of just like, I was honestly sitting middle, try to go off the batter's eye on a slider, and I saw it out of hand. I saw it was kind of like towards the inside corner, kind of where the umpire had called it a strike previously. And so I just kind of tried to hit it hard, like through the 4 hole, because I mean, I just line drive through the 4 hole is what I was trying to do. And I hit it really hard. I hit it with top spin. And it's funny, everybody was saying, like, celebrating and thinking it was a home run off the bat. And I had no idea. I was telling it to get down because I thought I hit it right at the right fielder. And so I
Yeah.
was like, get down, get down, get down, get down. And everybody else wanted it to get up. So it was crazy. After it went over, it hit the garage out there, and I hit first base and looked up and just was screaming. And when I hit second base, the coolest thing about I think that entire sequence was whenever I hit second base, Auburn had put our family and like our whole section above their dugout instead of above our dugout. So when you hit second base, you can look up and you saw everybody, and everybody. It looked like ants, like going up and down. It was everybody was jumping and going crazy, and it was really really cool, and it fired me up. That's why I like threw my hand in the air and said, "Come on!" But that's actually when I went back and watched the video. That's my favorite part of the video is watching it uh, you know, pan over all the family and friends and Ole Miss fans section and how happy they were because I know they were stressed out during that game, and it was really cool to see all the fans just realize that we're going to Omaha. So
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to the Ole Miss fans. They always travel well. That's why
Mhm.
I told people as far as everybody likes to talk about the Jello shot challenge and everything.
Mhm.
I was there in 2022. I'm just familiar with how the SEC teams have done in general. And somebody was like, "Yeah, give me the West Virginia fan base to take this thing," and I was like, "Not a chance with Ole Miss there. Not a chance."
I
I was
know.
like,
Well,
"They're going to travel."
I think the only chance that West Virginia has, and somebody brought this up, is Pat McAfee. Obviously, is
Yeah,
a West Virginia fan, so I think he could do some of the Raisin Canes, come in and buy a bunch of them. I think that's very Pat McAfee type thing right there, is to come in and just take it over. But our fans will show up; they always do. I actually just watched the D1 Baseball posted the top 30 CWS moments or whatever. It was like the back to back to back home runs, and I
Mhm.
just watched that, and that got me even more excited for how this atmosphere is going to be, and all the fans. I'm so ready for it. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, the only thing that's probably missing, and I actually had more invested stake in Georgia simply because we got 4 guests on the team, and I didn't.
Mhm.
This is the first year we never had anybody from Mississippi State on, so naturally, you know how I work. Will I root for the guys I know,
Yeah.
but I told people I was like, everybody's hyped up what LSU's done for the economy when they come to town. But I was like, they would not be prepared for what the state of Mississippi would bring if you had both those teams there at the
Oh my
same
goodness,
time.
I know. Oh, they would have burned the whole place down. Imagine that in the College World Series championship game, man. That would have been it would have been divided right down the middle. The entire stadium would have been, and it would have been half state fans, half Ole Miss fans.
I
It
mean,
would have
it's
been
it's the
crazy.
best it's the best rivalry. I think back to was it is 2024 when both teams weren't doing good, and then there was 16,000 plus at Duty Noble, and
Yeah.
it came down to a walk off, and it was like, what other two fan bases can be teams that just are having really really bad years and
Yeah,
then set an attendance record? Only this
exactly.
rivalry.
Oh yeah, I remember that game. It was the year after our national championship, so it was 23, and it was. I mean, there was 17,400 and some. I don't remember the exact
Yeah,
number.
I
There
took
was.
a picture of the
Oh
the
yeah,
billboard while I was there, and
it was
it
nuts.
was crazy. And
It
yeah,
was
obviously
crazy.
y'all were on the wrong end. Dakota Jordan had the
Yeah,
walk off, but the,
yeah.
the
It was
seeing
so loud.
it's been great in Oxford. Like I love being a part of that series. It doesn't matter. Like LSU Tennessee was playing the year before last at the same time, and they were like, "Are you really not going to LSU Tennessee?" And I was like, "Man, I don't miss Mississippi State Ole Miss for nothing.
I know,
I'm just
it's
hoping Ole
crazy.
Miss can start winning some more series, man.
I know it's weird, but it's okay. You know what? We're
You're where it matters." Yeah.
yeah, exactly. We're in the promised land now, and all we got to focus on is the road ahead. So yeah.
So let me ask you this: being on the road for these last two, or for the regional, super regionals, does it help prepare you guys for Omaha, which is obviously on the road? You're not playing at home, so like I feel like you've been in crazy enough environments these last couple weeks that like I don't feel like the atmosphere of Omaha should be too much.
Yeah, no, for sure. Honestly, it seems now I don't want to speak too soon, but it seems like Ole Miss travels so incredibly well to Omaha that it really won't even be like an away environment, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I
the
feel
only
like
team based upon my history in Omaha, the only team of the 8 teams that are there, and it would be the championship if it fell that way, would be Texas. Would be the only one that could
yeah,
maybe put up a fight.
yeah, and it'd probably be both. It'd probably be, honestly, I think the most it could be would be 50-50 Ole Miss fans and Texas fans. So, Nebraska, which nobody talks about, well, no, I haven't really seen very much about it, is that environment whenever we went to Nebraska and we played Nebraska. It was Rabe in the, I believe it was the sixth inning. It was bases loaded, and he kept saying like his pitch com was dead. Well, his pitch com wasn't dead. It was turned to the max volume, and he had his hand over his ear and he couldn't hear it. And I had a earpiece in, and I had it at like 15, which I usually keep it at 4 or 5 in normal games, and I can hear it just fine. I had it at 15, and I could barely hear it. So that was probably, I think it had something to do with the other stadiums in a bowl, and all of them are right on top of you. I think it's kind of like Arkansas where they're all on top of you, and it sounds really really loud. But they were, that was the probably one of the loudest games I've ever played in, and I don't know if it can get much louder than that. Honestly, we literally could not hear our pitch comms, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever experienced. And I think having an older team that can just learn to appreciate that type of atmosphere rather than fear it is is so big. And I think that's why older teams win, is because they know how to be like, okay, well, this is going to be a lot of fun. Like, I mean, there wasn't a single guy in that dugout that was afraid or nervous or scared to mess up in front of that many people.
Right.
And I think the SEC weather's that what like gets you ready for that. But I mean, everybody was kind of just excited to play in that atmosphere. And obviously Omaha, greater stakes, bigger crowds. I think we can fit what 26,000
Yeah.
people in there. I think everybody's just excited to play in front of that many people. If I'm being honest with you,
Yeah.
it's going to be a blast, and people are so our fans, and I know our players are super excited about it. So
Yeah, absolutely. So a question that I was talking with one of the Ole Miss Instagram pages. It's been very good with the baseball content all year. And they asked me if I was going to be interviewing any Ole Miss guys, and I told them that I was interviewing you. And they wanted me to ask you a question that's not a
Mhm.
typical question, so I'm glad they gave it to me. It's something different. I look, Will, you've played in 62 games this year.
Mhm.
Obviously holding down first base. Does fatigue ever like set in? Like, I know adrenaline's probably going now with you going to Omaha, but like, such a long season and you putting in the grind, like, does fatigue ever set in?
So it's more of like towards the end of the regular season, I would say. But honestly, not really. It's more of like you just have to prepare your body better rather than um, you just have to prepare your body better. Eat more carbs before the game, hydrate better, just kind of stretch more, do more soft tissue work, roll out stuff like that, just to because your muscles, you obviously playing this much, your muscles are starting to get used to it. You just have to make sure that they're healthy, and you don't want to get injured. I think injury is the most common thing this time of year.
Mm,
So Corello, our strength coach, John Corello, he does a phenomenal job with it. And in my 4 years here, there really hasn't been any muscular. Now, knock on wood, obviously,
mm,
there's some down here. I'll knock on wood. There really hasn't been very many muscular injuries
mm,
when he's been here, because he helps us take care of our body so much. And all that comes from continuing to do our work in the weight room and not taking days off, in that aspect. Like I said, soft tissue work and foam rolling. But yeah, no, this time of year, I'll play 7 games in a day. It's just a blast. It's so much fun. And you obviously have a bunch of adrenaline, but you want to just win for your team and your fans and your families. So this time of year, it's not a problem. And in the big leagues, they're playing 156 or 162 regular season games. So if you can't do 62 games, what makes you think you're going to be able to play at the next level,
right.
right? So you got to learn how to take care of your body now, so that way when you're playing more games, hopefully in the future, you know how to do it and just kind of prepare yourself. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we
more
have
of just
a
like
coach that we
preparation.
do. That's what they always say is the hardest transition. Just so many games. Like,
Yeah.
you definitely get tired of it when you go from, like you're saying, like 62 games up to 162.
hmm Yeah, exactly. You just got to take care of your body better. Eat the right stuff. Make sure you're getting, like, a lot of people think like, oh, if I want to eat healthy, I need to cut out carbs. I think that's probably the dumbest thing you could do, especially if you're lifting, and doing some pretty hard exercise. That's just recipe for disaster with injuries. So, just carbs, hydration is probably the biggest, the most important thing, and then sleep. Well, actually, probably hydration behind sleep. Obviously, sleep is been proven to be the number one thing.
Hey,
But
one
sleep
of
is
my
super
favorite
important.
answers I ever got was when we had Paul Skeens on here, and I asked him what the biggest difference between Air Force and LSU was, and he said sleep. He said I get
Mhm.
8 hours of sleep, and it changes everything.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's crazy how little people really think sleep matters. Sleep matters probably that's probably the best recovery thing you can do for your body is sleep.
No doubt. Well, just a couple more things I got to know. Practice today. Does
Mhm.
it feel any different when you're practicing and Omaha's on deck, or does it feel exactly the same? Like I feel like I don't know if you'd be more excited or if it's more business, like what the aspect is, but it feels like it would have just a little bit different of a weight on it.
Yeah, it honestly it feels it's kind of weird right now. And me and Judd and some of the other guys were talking about this. It really doesn't feel real yet. Like we know we just won a super. We know we're going to Omaha, but I don't really know if it's gonna really set in until we're flying into Omaha and we see TD Ameritrade and out
Yeah.
of the plane window. So right now it's more of just like practice as usual. Like when we lost to Missouri in the first round, obviously that was like we did not want to do that, but the amount of work we got out of it, going home early and inter squatting and practicing and just getting better, I think that was huge for us, and it kind of feels like that. We just wanted to get 1% better today, and I think we did. We had some early work. We worked on some first and third things, and we hit BP, and it was kind of like how we've done the whole year. And Coach B loves to say that we have some of the best staff in preparing us to play at a very high level, and I think that's really accurate because they always have a plan. They always meet um, at the beginning of every week and talk over what we're going to do. I mean, even after we got back from Auburn on Sunday afternoon, they went inside and they probably met for an hour and a half, deciding on the plan of when to practice, when to lift, how to lift, what we're doing on lifting, the even up to like the amount of practicing we're doing on each day. Like today was a lighter day. Tomorrow we're going to go a little bit heavier in practice because we're not lifting, and then Wednesday we're going to lift at 8 a.m., practice at 9 a.m., and do a light practice. And then we're going to Omaha. And then on Thursday, we practice and we're doing this and that. Like they already know exactly what we're going to do from now until we beat UNC on, uh, and when we beat UNC after the game. And even if they even have a plan if we lose, which I personally I don't like, I think you should burn the boats. But they plan for both. They plan for both occasions, so they know exactly what we're doing from now until Sunday's game. So and then after that, they have they'll meet again and they'll have another plan. So they have a strict, or not really strict, but exact plan of everything we're going to do from now until we eventually, hopefully, win the national championship.
I heard that. Well, sounds like y'all ready to go. So it leaves me with the final question. I ask every guest this in
Mhm.
every single episode, and I get to ask it again because it hits a little different. I said if I was to offer you $10 million cash, smooth, man, change your life, or you can have this national championship. Will, which one you doing?
National championship.
There it is.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't think there is a wrong answer in this scenario, but I feel like just the national champion. Talking to all the guys on here who've just talked about what it's like, the blood, sweat, and tears, the putting in the time with the brothers.
Mhm.
I just feel like there's nothing greater that you can accomplish. So, man, I'm hoping that you guys get that feeling. Obviously, I've gotten to know quite a bit of you guys, and man, great group of guys. So I really hope y'all get it done.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I will see you there. See Dad there. I know your mom and Dad are stoked, and
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you're still going to get a little bit of hey, that's Eddie Furniss son, but hopefully you get your own ring, and you know what, they'll start dropping that adjective and description. But man, I wish you nothing but the best, and I'll see you guys out there.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's Will Furniss, everybody. If you like hearing this story or just like hearing us average Joes talk X's and O's, please like on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff. Give us a follow. I'll be back tomorrow. Will, it's actually interesting.
Mhm.
Did you see Dave Portnoy going nuts about not being able to interview Daniel Jackson from Georgia?
Yeah, yeah, I did. I did.
Well, I'm sorry, Dave. You may not get to interview Georgia, but I do. And so we'll be back tomorrow. We actually got a couple episodes, but we'll be starting with Colby Branch from Georgia. But in the meantime, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grin grind all time. We are out.